Incorporated in St. Charles. Yeah, well, just don't mention anything at this point. Basically, New Orleans Auction Galleries Incorporated filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy this spring. I'm not sure the exact date, but what had happened was that New Orleans Auction Galleries Inc. Had New Orleans Auction Galleries and had St. Charles Auction Gallery. Once they filed bankruptcy, the St. Charles closed, and the court is now running New Orleans Auction Galleries Incorporated. We got involved because of the consignor issue to make sure that all the consignors were paid. We did have, I forget if we had 5 or 6.
3.
We had 3? Okay. We had 3 complaints from consignors on this matter.
That was submitted to the board.
That was submitted to the board. I talked to the attorney for New Orleans Auction Galleries. Those names and the amount due were submitted to the bankruptcy court, and permission was granted to pay all consignors from the January 2011 sale, which had not been paid because of the bankruptcy. At this time, we've done nothing else because literally the judge is running things. They have obtained financing. They are continuing to operate under the Chapter 11. We're staying involved because there's probably going to be a transfer of ownership at New Orleans Auction Galleries Incorporated, and there may be some other things that we'll have to go into. But I want to make sure that everyone was aware that all those who had either called or filed complaints for not being paid have been paid in full, as far as I know, or satisfactorily. I think they've all dropped them. There was one that got left out the first time.
There's one, because the getting paid is not the issue.
Oh, we have one more, excuse me, that is on an issue of validity of the item that he purchased. As you know, unless he comes in with something proving that it's not what it says it is, we normally assume that's a contractual matter. We will not get involved until the end of it. Today, I don't think he said anything else but the original complaint.
No, he is not.
And because it's in bankruptcy, we can't go against him at this time because of the bankruptcy proceedings. If you're not familiar with that, there's a stay issued with the bankruptcy that stops all proceedings with regard to litigation or other items. We can go in and ask it to be lifted, but once we got all the consignors paid, we have not done anything further after that point. We're continuing to monitor the situation. I do expect that we'll have an application for a business license filed shortly. They'll be heard at the July meeting. It's still running under Jean Vito's, who is a Louisiana resident. And once it transfers ownership, she's 100% owner according to the proceedings. Once it transfers ownership, then that will basically take care of the financing issue, and they may come out of bankruptcy, and we will take whatever action is necessary.
Is it currently under debtor in possession or a trustee running?
It's in debtor in possession.
Debtor in possession with court approval.
With court approval.
And everybody's been paid.
Everybody's been paid.
No pending suits or anything that's on the table.
It would be any court proceedings, any proceedings that may have occurred are on the same stay. I have not seen anything in the bankruptcy proceeding for anyone asking to lift the stay, except with regard to financing issues. And there is a hearing coming up next month with regard to financing and some other issues. So that's why I'm saying I think there's going to be a transfer of ownership. Tessa was employed by St. Charles. She's now employed by New Orleans Auction Galleries. So I'm asking her today to appoint someone for me to talk to keep abreast, representative of the board with regard to these proceedings, because that's part of what my contract says.
Do you want to have a hearing on this, or do you want to just continue it?
No, I just had to report someone that's going on and getting
Mr.
one.
Bordelon, you agreed to work with Ms. Dow on this since I.
But since it's under bankruptcy judge right now, we really don't have nothing we can do.
I just keep abreast of what's going on. If it comes,
just keep us advised on this.
Sure.
I mean, there's nothing we can do because the bankruptcy's going anyhow.
Yeah.
right.
The only thing we can do is deny the license or pull the license.
And let me say this, but so far they have been, let me put it like this. I've called them and said, we got a consignor hasn't been paid, they had jumped through hoops to make sure all was taken care of. The judge has provided that no one gets paid out of any money here unless she sees it. So everything's going through there. She has also authorized them, and they have established an escrow account that she has to see, as well as operating accounts that she has to see. So she has a very hands-on approach to this, and is continuing to do so. And again, the attorneys, this is, by the way, and if y'all don't know this, you can go on Pacer
Yes.
with regard to this, any bankruptcy proceeding or any federal court proceeding. Sort of keep track of it, although some of these motions, I have to think through a good deal, and I do this for a living, so
Let me ask you
they're
this
complicated.
now, let me just make sure I heard you correctly. New Orleans auction, St. Charles has closed down.
That's correct. It was a separate company technically.
Okay, and New Orleans is now operating.
It's now operating, it's having auctions under the control of the bankruptcy court.
Okay. Did Ms. Steinkamp have any position in the St. Charles auction gallery as far as officer or anything else like that?
I don't know at the time it closed, I don't think so, no.
Okay, so
She
she's
did
not
not.
connected.
She worked there, she had some management duties there, as I understand it, but those ended prior to it closing.
Was St. Charles licensed as an auction gallery?
No, it was licensed under Ms. Vito's. Ms. Vito's owned both of them 100%.
Okay. That's what I was trying to figure out. You know, I saw it on the basis. I actually saw the newspaper article. I get to know this topic when it came out. I was just trying to see how the two auction galleries connected, and
They were two different corporations. Jean actually owned both, and she's a licensee with us, and I think she's current, and
Yeah.
everything's in line with her. So they decided, they were trying to actually sell St. Charles, and they were keeping us abreast of that, and they could not find a buyer, so they simply closed it down.
okay. Because I know, I think in one of the cases, they had Ms. Steinkamp listed as the vice president of the
Yeah.
organization, or something like that.
But that
I
had
thought-
terminated prior to it closing.
Okay, because I mean, that's what I was trying to figure out.
And that's why she's recused herself anyway.
I understand that aspect of it. I just want to make sure, because I know there was a list of what I saw on page system, a lot of consigners. You only mentioned that 5, but I mean.
They filed complaints with
That's
us.
filed complaints with the.
I have a list of,
It's
Five
actually
people.
five
Charles.
contacted us. 5 contacted us, not even all 5 filed complaints.
yeah, most of them were paid prior to having all this done.
He's
Yeah.
talking about New Orleans auction.
Yeah, yeah.
Not St. Charles.
There was,
You're
as far as I know,
Zero.
Yeah, there were no.
complaints through St. Charles.
There was one, but it was immediately handled.
Yeah, believe me, the attorney was very receptive to our discussions and is continuing to do so. That's the attorney for New Orleans, bankruptcy attorney for New Orleans. I call, he gets off his phone and he answers the phone because he wants to make sure there's a smooth transition to the new company, which will have to get a license from this board for it to operate because it will no longer be.
Satisfactory to all consigners and everyone being.
The court, let me say this, I'm not going to second guess the court. The court has ordered that every consignor be paid and has made sure to sign the order to that effect.
That's been our obligation.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, and sellers, and we've had one complaint from a buyer, and that had to do with the authenticity of an item that was totally unrelated to the bankruptcy.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, ma'am.
that's being handled separately.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that there's proceedings that the court has placed in order
Yeah.
before we can make a decision.
Yeah, no, I'm not getting anything until the court basically finishes its ruling on this matter.
Okay, that's
So
what
we
I'm
were
gonna
going in for
Right, and
to
I'm,
discuss everything with Greg.
yeah, I'm gonna
not
talk to
me.
Greg alone on this, and that he will give me guidance on this. Anything that the board does will have to be approved by the board. The only thing that you may not see is if there is any kind of disciplinary action in the future. You know, as we get more into this, there may be, but not until the bankruptcy court turns it loose.
Okay, and what is Greg's capacity in reference to?
My contract requires that I confer with the chairman on a regular basis with regard to issues before the board, which is what I've been doing. Because Tessa is involved in was involved, with St. Charles, and is now involved with, New Orleans. I can't talk to her about New Orleans. So she has appointed Greg basically for me to talk to about this matter.
Is the liaison in reference to New Orleans?
Right, just to New Orleans, right. So in
Okay.
other words, I talk to him, give him advice, he gives me ongoing recommendations with regard to this, which is what I did with Mr. Cumber prior to this.
Okay, I may have come in and missed something.
Right, all of the board members were informed this morning before the meeting that Mr. Comer resigned effective Friday. Unfortunately, you weren't here before the meeting for me to tell you. I just kind of met each person at the back door. So Tessa is vice chairman, so that puts her in the acting chairman position, if you want to say. So normally Anna would answer to the chairman, but since Tessa is the acting chairman, she can't talk to Tessa about a case that Tessa works for the company. So Greg is gonna be the person that Anna speaks directly to. Does that make sense, ma'am?
Yeah, I understand that aspect, but in some way or another, there's a liaison between the two that I guess Greg has relayed information.
No.
No, nothing will come to me.
No, it will only come to the board, basically.
Well, I
Until our next meeting.
can't really do anything
I
without the
understand,
board.
okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Right.
Okay.
I'm not on the board of directors or anything with New Orleans Auction. I'm simply an employee, but I'm recusing as a board member when New Orleans
And all I can do is
Auction
give
comes
advice,
up.
the board has to make final.
And they can't
decisions.
discuss it with me, so I'm not New Orleans.
No, I understand that aspect. I was just trying to make the correlation between what
Right.
Ms. Dow was saying and what it
Understand
transpired.
that now?
Yeah, I understand now. He's gonna be the
So we can
liaison.
move
Yeah,
on.
so that's fine, as long as, and I will talk to you about it. Like I said, there may be nothing happening between now and our next meeting, but in case there is.
Is there a court date set for this?
There is a court date in July, I believe it, I'd have to look back for sure, I think it's July 12th or thereabouts. And that's with regard to a financing issue, filed by the prior financing company, as well as potentially, this is what I'm expecting, there to be transfer of ownership, if there's going to be one. While it's in bankruptcy, this may not happen. If it does happen, I've advised the attorneys, and I'm going to advise the court if necessary, that no other company can come in and take over this particular company without first obtaining a license, a business license.
Okay, because I know there was something about a California base. I saw that.
California?
Yeah, I thought I saw something in there concerning a California-based company investor.
No, not this, the proceeding in July is on a local company.
You're mistaken. I know what you saw, but it has nothing to do with an investor.
Okay, well, I'm just going through, I'm just reading this.
I know,
as I got it.
I know.
And it may be
It's
this whole-
real confusing, but that has nothing to do with what
Well,
you're
I
I
mean-
don't even know about that, so.
Right.
Okay, well, it's in that particular suit.
Well, I've been reading all the paperwork in the suit. The only one right now is MS Rock,
Right.
Inc. is actually involved in it. But they were the prior financing company, so they're trying to get their money. Anyway, it's a bankruptcy situation that we're taking.
But does not involve us.
Right.
Not at this point,
Not at
no.
that point.
Not at this point, no. But we're
Greg-
watching the
Greg's
next
up on
consign.
that.
Yeah, if it's consignor issue, or if there's a transfer of ownership, we'll be involved in that.
Very good.
And you would inform us as to how everything goes.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
Okay. Somebody has their hand
I
up.
can take that and go.
You wanna take this and go?
Y'all seem like you have a whole lot more.
It's fine, he was here wanting his license number.
Oh, okay.
So if you take that, you're good to go.
Congrats.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Somebody has their hand up over there.
All right, my last thing this morning is Mr. Phillips and I were in court.
Just a minute,
I'm sorry, I couldn't see your hand.
no problem.
You want to say something? Mr.
Well, no, I wanted to ask a question. You stated a little earlier using past tense that the financing, Anna, stated,
I didn't know you were addressing.
well, no problem, I should have made that clear.
I can't see.
Well, I'll stand too.
Thank you.
You had used the past tense previously that they had arranged financing. I had read where, and you can help me clarify, is this part of the stock ownership transfer that there was $311,000 that was supposed to be provided by a German gentleman, if I remember right.
That's Brown.
So is it they're one and the same?
He's not German. It's a local antique store that's in the quarter. That he was, the pleading that I'm looking at right now, which is scheduled for hearing, was actually on a very complicated financing situation, which previously existed. That's basically the motion to be heard next month is a motion for authority to lift stay and basically distribute, I can't say that word this morning, proceeds of the auction to the secured creditor, and he was the secured creditor in the matter.
So there's, because the article referenced a name that there's no way to pronounce it, and it was